What's up, notJust developers? In this video, we're gonna speak about must-have extensions for Visual Studio Code for React Native developers. These are extensions that will make you a better developer because they will help you code faster, cleaner, and with less bugs. But more importantly, it will make you the process of coding more enjoyable so that you can focus on building the apps of the future. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button, and without further ado, let's jump into it. I will start this list with extensions that will benefit all of you, that in my opinion are must-have extensions for React Native developers, but at the end, as a bonus, I will include some opinionated extensions, themes and fonts that I love and I use every day. So if you're also interested in that, make sure to stick around till the end. And the first one on my list is definitely the snippets extensions that probably save me so much time throughout the years. So yeah, I'm speaking about the extension called ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native snippets. So basically these are snippets for a lot of technologies that we use in our React Native development. And they help us bootstrap and generate some very common code that you have to write over and over again. So we all are lazy developers. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely one. So I really hate writing all this boilerplate code. And this library definitely helps me with that. And especially during my live streams when I have to speed up the process, I end up using them a lot. So how does it work? Yeah, here are the list of shortcuts that the extension supports. And yeah, I'll definitely have to learn more of them because I use probably 10% of the shortcuts that are here. But yeah, let me show you with an example how this extension can help you. So for example, I need to create a new component button, let's say, and I'm here, I can write React Native functional export component, hit enter, and this will generate the whole component for me. It will include the React, everything is done here, and I can start implementing the component. You can also import, for example, something from React or from React Native, such as import React Native, hit enter, and here you'll say, for example, import a text or import an image and so on. I'll not go through more of them because yeah, there are a lot of them. So learn the ones that you use the most, and this will definitely improve the speed of the way you develop. The next extension specifically built for React Native by the Microsoft team is called React Native Tools. And if we search React Native Tools, in the market extensions, here it is. And yeah, what it offers some easy tools to use to run your application on devices, on simulators, debug it, and so on. So when you are in a React Native project, you can open your command palette and write React Native, run iOS simulator, or publish to expo, reload application. Yeah, there are a lot of commands that you would use a lot of time while developing an application for React Native. However, most of the times I really stick to using the command line because all of those commands you can do it with just React Native run iOS, for example. But if you don't like using the terminal, this extension will help you a lot. Okay, on to the next one. This one is really something that I wish I had discovered earlier. And the extension is called VSCode React Refactor. And yeah, here it is. And what it does, it will help you refactor JSX code. It's developed for React, but it will also work with React Native as well. And this will help you refactor long components and extract some of the parts into separate components. And what I mean by that, yeah, let me open a component that is pretty long here. Yeah, this was for our Amazon clone. And here I see a comment that this view represents the ratings of a product. So if I highlight all the code here, I press extract JSX to functional component. I will give here the name ratings, press enter, and it will transform this to the ratings component. And the cool thing is that it detects what data it needs. So in this case, it will need product, and it sends the product as properties. And if I scroll up here, I see the newly created functional component ratings with the same code as I had there, and displaying the ratings of a product. So the next time when you want to refactor a component and split it down into multiple smaller components, which I always recommend, then use this tool to make your life easier. All right, moving on. So the next group of extensions are meant to help you write cleaner code and to prevent bugs in future. So I'll start with the first one, which is called Eslint. And this extension will integrate Eslint into VSCode and will give you an easy way to fix linting errors. If you have never heard about linters, what are linters, Alex? If you have never heard about linters, they help you define and control the style that you want to keep for a code base. So these are very useful when you're working in a team, because everyone has their own style of writing the code. Someone writes using tabs, someone uses spaces, someone prefers to add semicolons at the end, someone prefers not to. And in most of the cases, these are perfectly working code. However, if you don't keep the same style in a project, it can get really out of hand, and for new people it's going to be very confusing when they will join the team. So if you want to keep the code quality high, I highly recommend you using linters, and you can actually find some standards in the industry. Some of them are coming from Google. Airbnb have some well-known standards for linters, so you can just extend from them and use them as they are, or you can also adjust them on your own preference. So let me quickly show you how linters help. And the extension is called Eslint. You can find it lint. You can find it here, and you can read how to set it up in your VS Code. Basically, you will need also to have Eslint installed in your project or globally using npm. And this is the important file, eslint.rc, which defines the configuration of your linting, like the rules that you want to enforce. So if I open here in our project, we can see that this is a very simple configuration which just extends from React Native community. It doesn't have any custom rules. So for example, if I am to write some code like, I don't know, let's say const label equal to something. Okay, this is perfectly fine code, like it will work, nothing will crash. However, first of all, in our linters, we specify that we want our strings to be single-quoted. That's one issue. The second issue is to have semi-columns at the end. That's another issue. And the last issue here is saying that our label is defined, but the value is never used. And this is a very good indication in a lot of cases that you have a bug in the code. So for example, you forgot to use the value or something like that, or you deleted some code and you left some imported libraries in your code, which will decrease the performance and can lead to later bugs. One extra step that you can take is to reinforce that the linters are running just before people are committing their changes. And in this case, nobody will be able to commit their code unless they fix all the linting problems. And this way, you know that everyone is following the rules that you define. The next extension is also here to help you maintain your code pretty, and it's called Prettier. So here, if we go into the extensions and search Prettier, we will find the library here. It will help you format your code and keep it consistent. So let me show you what exactly I mean by that. In our project, it also needs .prettier.rc file that defines some settings for it. For example, if you need bracket spacing, spaces around brackets, or single quote or double quote, trailing comma, and so on. So whenever your code, I don't know, for some reason gets out of style and is not pretty anymore, let's say like this, and you save it, it will take care of everything and it will make sure that it's back to a pretty form. And the last one from this category is code spell checker. This is a very general and very useful extension, spell checker. Let me find it. I've got used from WebStorm to this library, and this will basically spell check your code. And yeah, it's not revolutionary, but it's always better when you spell correctly your variable names and so on. Especially for me, that I'm not a native English speaker. Sometimes, I don't know, I make some mistakes. And this will, yeah, if I do it like this, my code spell checker will say, probably you did a mistake there. So I'll go back and fix it, and nobody will ever know that I don't know how to spell, I don't know, receive. All right, so moving on. The next extension is really useful if you are using Git, but yeah, I can bet that you are using it. So let's get into it. It's called GitLens, and here you can find it. That's how it's called. And what it does, it will give you more visibility and control over your Git repository. So what I mean by that is, for example, let's open a file from our project. And if I want to see what were the changes, what were the previous changes, I can easily press on this icon here on the top right corner called Open Changes with Previous Revision. And it will open the difference between the previous revision and the current one. And I can easily see that, okay, in the previous version, we introduced here Stripe provider. And yeah, that's what we did. We implemented Stripe. If I go back one more time, we can see that this was the code that was added at that point in time. That is one feature of GitLens. The next one that I really love is the git blame feature. And this will show you who wrote each line of code. And here in the VSCode editor, it shows you with like this great text that, okay, this line was written by you, by me, a month ago within the backend commit. So if you want to see a better view of this git blame, you can toggle the file blame here in the top right corner, and this will actually show you the whole file and whoever wrote each line of code. So when you see over-engineered code in your project that is impossible to understand and you want to know who was the person that wrote that, you can use this tool to find out, and most probably it was you that did that and you just forgot. All right, so the next group of extensions are small extensions that will help you visualize better your code and will potentially help you find easier bugs. So let's get into that. And the first one is called highlight matching tag. Here it is. This is helpful, especially in huge components to understand like where the tag is starting. And if I hover over this one, I see that it ends here. If I do it on this one, I see that this is the matching tag, and so on. So yeah, you get the idea. The next one is actually very useful whenever you want to change a tag. So this is called auto rename tag, and I saw it right there, auto rename tag. Yeah, this one. So whenever you rename the opening tag, it will automatically rename the closing tag. In React Native, this is very useful whenever I want to move from a view to, I don't know, a safe area view. I change it here and it automatically renames it the closing tag, or from a view to a pressable, let's say, whenever I want to create a button out of a view. The next one is called bracket pair colorizer and actually use the second version here. And what it does, it will show the pair of brackets with different colors. So whenever you have like function with destructuring props, with destructuring array, and so on, and for example, you have a lot of brackets, they will have different colors, and it's gonna be much easier to spot like the pairs of these brackets. So here, like with yellow, we see this one, and with purple, we see this one. As well, like if we would have like a lot of brackets here, they will all have like different colors. And speaking about the colors, the next extension is called Color Highlight. And this will just render the color that you are writing with hexadecimal code. And this is very, very useful for me, specifically that I'm coming from WebStorm. And yeah, here you can see that, okay, this is a color and maybe I want a different one. So if I put FFF, that's a white, I see it here. What I really wish that this library had is a way to actually press on the color and select it in a visual way. That's how it was done in WebStorm. And I was usually doing like FFF because that's what I remember that is white. When I was clicking on it, selecting the color that I want, like a gray or something like that. But I couldn't find something similar in VSCode. And if you have a recommendation, please let me know down below because I really miss this feature. Okay, so these were the extensions that helps me code faster and keep my code cleaner. And now, as I promised, let me show you what theme I use, what font, and so on, because yeah, I had a lot of questions during the live stream. Let's start with the theme. So I use this extension called Community Material Theme. It contains a lot of cool color schemes. So in my case, if I do Command-Shift-P, and here if we write color theme, we can open, and here we can see all the options that we have for the colors. Yeah, we can ignore the ones on top because these are not for humans. And here, yeah, this is the default community material theme. It's too much for me. My choice is community material darker. This is really neutral, it's very easy on the eye, and it's really dark. Okay, so moving on, the next extension is called Material Theme Icons. And this is an icon pack that changes the icons of your files and folders in the editor. So here you can see that all of them have very custom icons, and it's much easier to navigate and to understand like which one is what. So here we can see that .tsx files, which contains React code, have this React logo, and it is very easy to understand where is the components, where is the styles, source, assets, components, and so on. Here, specifically for settings file for Prettier, for example, we can see the Prettier logo right on the file name. The same way goes for the Eslint, for the Git attributes, Babel, and so on. And lastly, here is the settings.json file for my VSCode. And if you want to see some extra things like tab size and so on, you can see them here. And the last thing that we can see here is the font family that I use, which is JetBrains Mono. And yeah, I chose this font just to make my transition from JetBrains, from WebStorm to VSCode easier, and yeah, to have a similar experience in both cases. Also, an interesting part is that I have font ligatures to true. This is very common and very useful because it will make your arrow functions like look like an arrow, or the triple equal sign to look like triple equals, like the equal sign is this one, and so on. Okay, guys, that's it from the most important parts of my VS Code setup that I use for my React Native environment. If you have any other suggestions, please let me know down below, because I know that there are so many tools that exist and I don't know about them yet. And I would really love to enhance my development experience with them. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification bell not to miss any future videos, because we go live every Friday at 2 p.m. GMT, where we develop live React Native applications such as Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Amazon, and a lot of more cool applications that you don't want to miss. So that's it for today, guys. Take care, stay hydrated, and write clean code. Bye bye.